Can't see? That's right. Still not working. I don't want to move. The whole point is I want a window. That's why I have a window, because air comes in it. I pay good money for windows. Maybe you have an apartment without windows. But I pay good money for windows in here. I'll buy whatever kind of curtains I want. I'll make them whatever color I want. One is cranberry. One is dark chocolate. Did you ever notice that? It's burgundy and brown. What? I took what my mother gave me. Where do you get 4 panels of curtains when you move in? You have them in here? Because I didn't. Oh, please stop. I can't even deal anymore with these stupid comments. Amy, it's been 20 plus years since you dated. I think it's time to move on, honey boo boo child. Well, I told you, why don't you find Daniel in Malton and kill him? I don't know why you keep coming telling me about moving on. I opened a business to recover victims. Why? Why are you here if you don't want me to do something to you? No, the quickest way possible. 1 minute and 45 seconds. You want to go over quick? They're abusers, control, power, and money, a bottomless pit of I want, I need, and give me. It's Friday. I'm single. Did we go over this one again? What if I want to go out? What if I want to date? Where am I going to go in Malton? I can't even walk down the street. People are seeing me and telling me what? They have girls, they have boys. Which one? Husbands and wives? I can't go because they have what? Yeah, let's all understand now. Why didn't you read the name of the stream, the live stream for me? Go, let's hear what it says. I never wondered why I can't hear anybody. Now? Are you confusing Zoom with YouTube? Well, do you know what year YouTube started live streams? They think what? They think what? It's not abuse? They think what? That Daniel Drummond, what? Wasn't cold and heartless? He didn't have a harem of women he used for supply? He didn't make me jealous? Which one? It's a moon and heart and stars. You can't see it. Maybe the tattoo artist did it wrong when they were injecting the ink. So when it scabbed and, healed, it wasn't the red heart. Maybe that was karma for me. I also lost weight. So you know what happens to skin when you lose weight to a tattoo? Have you ever had a tattoo and gained weight? What happens to the tattoo? Does it stretch? So what happens if you lose weight to your tattoo, do you think? Is that the same as when you age? What happens to your tattoo? Why didn't you ask my brother and Daniel what happened the day I went to get my tattoo? They were with me. All the way to Brampton. My brother Steve, who lives on Netherwood right now with my mother, and Daniel Drummond, my ex-narcissistic boyfriend, they were there with me. They traveled all the way to the tattoo studio with me so I could get it done. Saved up all my money, right? Got the one I could afford. This happens to be it. What's my early adult life? That could be a good story. Let's hear it. I often wonder about your early adult life. Why don't you pick an age and I'll tell you? Well, let's go into my narcissistic ex-boyfriend. 1996, how old was I? 17? So till 2002. How old was I in 2002? And then if he was Hoover maneuvering and all around town till 2012, that's another 10 years. He was doing whatever he wanted, right? While I was locked up. So how would I know what he was doing and where he was? If after he broke up with me, he considered himself technically single, right? Like a narcissist does. They go on and they date and do whatever. If you spend 5.5 years with a boyfriend and all of a sudden one day they show up and they dump you, what do you think happens to you if you're a human being? Well, if you ask them why and it's a narcissist, you know they're not going to answer you, right? They're just going to loophole you. So what do you think happens? We're in 2025 now, right? Unless he's dead, he didn't disappear. He's somewhere. So what do you want from me? I'm the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Life Coach, recovering victims of narcissistic abuse. Obviously, you have to be 19 to get a tattoo, right? So I was 19, at least, when I got my tattoo. Do you want to go over my nose ring? I was 16. After I got off probation, remember I was charged with truancy? So 16, they can't charge you anymore, right, with truancy? So since the probation office was downstairs in the mall, yeah, that's where I got my nose ring. That's where I got my nose pierced, the place downstairs in the mall. Same Westwood Mall. Just things, you can't change. How did I get into Morningstar? I graduated Lancaster. How did you get into Morningstar? When a relationship ends, it's important to pursue hobbies and see friends and stay active and keep your mind from having dark thoughts and being reclusive and experiencing depression. A normal breakup? When a normal relationship ends, or a narcissistic one? What's the difference between a normal breakup? You wouldn't know, right? Unless you've been with which one, a narcissist? A normal person. Well, if Daniel Drummond is the only person I've been with, right? The only boyfriend I had, how would I know the difference? Normal. If that was 15.5 years of my life. This is why I was trying to remember what year I worked in Jack and Jill, the actual years they were. Well, it ain't going to change now, is it? I'm sitting right here in Malton. How many times did I tell you? Where are you going to go? Who are the people then? You taught intergenerational trauma, right? Mm-hmm. Well, what are we talking about? If you live in the same place and you break up, and by some miracle you both go out, where you're going to go? What's going to happen if you see each other? Why I can't walk down certain streets? I'm not supposed to? Let me hear this one. Why people have jealousy? I posted the video earlier, right? About jealousy, the new supply, what they tell them. Does that explain why half of you think I'm what in Malton? Half of you know nothing about me? You think I'm what? Now, if you think about it, what Daniel told you? If you were his friends, if you were where? Soccer team? Yeah, everybody. What am I going to do now? I can't take it back. When what? Half of you the same people. What do you mean when what? Well, I didn't make it up, right? Too many? 1996. We're going into 2026. How many years is that? 30? 30 years. Minimum, right? That's not even my family. That's just my boyfriend, right? Then there's if they picked you, the perfect victim because of my family. If he knew what to look for, right? And we went over if the chances are your first relationship is a narcissist, if you have narcissistic parents, and then you marry them. A lot of people are already, they married them. Then they realize, right, your high school sweetheart, that thing, if you actually look into it, might be a reason, or that might be new information for some people. So we'll take a minute there if you need an explanation. Do you think that's funny when you keep saying that's Franklin out there? I can't hear his voice. No, I want you to understand. That was the rental in Bramalea. I paid how much rent to share a room with Franklin for how long? Do you have any idea what I went through? You keep telling me about the knife, and so I need to clear it right now. Because? What do you mean because? Then you're telling me I saw Jeff myself running around Malton. This was all in Bramalea in the rental I was in. The landlord, right. I paid rent for what? Every piece of clothes I had, everything's gone, stolen. They said what? They called the police and they took it? Which one is it? They had a property what? I still don't know. I'm sitting here in Malton how many years later? Right this minute, outside my window, where I live, my apartment for the rest of my life. I don't know why you're laughing at this. You're telling me I'm what? Miserable and mean and... No, I don't understand. I told you all three of them. I couldn't have a conversation with not a one. So what happened? Who am I talking to and why are you talking about it? When I'm done this at 8 o'clock on Friday in Malton, where am I supposed to go? I sit on the rock outside to smoke, right? If you see me on the bench on the other side of the building, right, they need the trail. It's their trail. But let's hear, where should I go? To the Tim Hortons? Should I go to where? Lancaster and sit in the park and smoke? Just walk around and smoke? This is reality, mine, right? Single female. What if I wanted to go drink somewhere? Where would I go? Then what would happen after? If I actually drank more than one beer? Reality. Let me hear. I'm going to walk right back here. What don't you understand? Let me hear where. What would happen? Yeah, like for my birthday, if I wanted to go somewhere. For that, I would have to buy it, keep it in my apartment, stay in my apartment, drink, right? For safety, for everything. What are you grinning at? Is there a different option for you? Then what? What would happen if I got drunk? Where? That's the point. Do you understand? You're in the same Malton? Okay, let's go over if it's just these buildings, these 4 buildings on a Friday. And? Really? Where? What gas station? How long have we been going on about the alcohol? Why it's there? So who's lying now? You what? You want to talk about reefer? And? We'll go over this again. What happens when you smoke reefer and what happens when you drink alcohol as a female? Yeah, I'm separating it real quick. Sure, go by body weight. All the females, what happens by body weight when they drink alcohol and they get drunk? You want it fair. What? You have issues with my teeth? What do you want me to do? Put them back in? How did you want me to pay for a dentist? We went over my insurance. What would you like me to do? Go pay for insurance? ODSP pays for dentures? And which dentist should I go to? One in Malton? Which one takes ODSP? The one across from the mall? That's where I used to go to see Dr. Zaidel. You want me to go back to that building? Do you want me to get some blood drawn? I hate blood and blood tests. You want me to go downstairs in the lab and see what's there and take some blood? Well, what else? You actually what? I'm here. You actually what? When I used to go to the Wendy's, you stopped me, right? I used to be my Friday, go get food, walk, enjoy my walk, play Pokemon. And why'd you stop me from doing that? Wildwood Park, how many people go there and play Pokemon? Why'd you stop me from going there? They went digging up everywhere, building everywhere. Malton Library, the park. You can't even go through there. Let's hear. What's reality in Malton now? Sure, let's go down Airport Road. Why can't I go to the Tim Hortons, the Vanguard Tim Hortons? The coyotes will get me. From the McDonald's, how long does it take to walk there? It doesn't take 2 days. I used to walk every night. I had no option. Do you understand that? So what are you telling me about 2 days? I didn't have a choice. Where was I going to go? If I stayed in Malton, I was in the bus shed. Do you know the heated bus shed in the bus terminal? That's where I stayed all night till Tim Hortons opened at 5. What was my option? The library opens at what, 6? It used to open at 6. Well, let me hear what my option was. Where was I going to go to the bathroom if I was in the bus shed? Yeah, that's how I fell and busted my head. Remember, I fell asleep sitting on the bench. Yeah, I keep saying remember, but I'm telling you. I was on the bench and I fell asleep and fell over. I'm sure it's still there and you can still go press the button and get heat. Did any of you know there's a heater in there? That's a good question. How many of you knew there was a heater in there in the bus shed? You press the button and the heat comes on. You know when you go, the one with the door, where the door closes? I'd like to know how many of you knew that. You poor thing. Mm-hmm. You bonked your little noggin. Yeah, just remember that. The next time at 3 o'clock in the morning, I come take pictures of that bus shed. That's when you remember, you poor thing, you bonked your little noggin. When it's the middle of winter, this winter, and I walk around the mall and I'm laughing. When I see you here and your lights are on in your car, and I'm like, why are lights on? That's carbon monoxide. You tell me, oh, I'm homeless. I need heat. That's when I'm going to laugh at you and remember, you poor thing, you bonked your little noggin. Oh, winter's a long winter. You poor thing. They want to come into the building, right, to stay warm? Is that it? Their fingers are going to fall off their toes this year? Which one? You poor thing. Questions? Yeah, anybody have questions? I hate winter. I'm glad global warming is going to solve that. Snow and cold sucks. You want to go over the building when I had to do all the snow shoveling? Do you remember that? When you kept blocking the path where I had to go smoke to the rock? And I had to bring a shovel from my mother's house. I had to borrow a shovel so I could shovel the path every morning when I went out, every time I went out. Do you want to go over that one in the building? How people were using the path and telling me to move out of the way, my own path that I shoveled. Do you want to go over how many months that was? The same building? Speaking of, you hate winter and cold. Where did you guys smoke when you had to smoke last winter? In your cars? In the parking lot? On the road? Where? The park? I guess we're taking a survey. Where'd you smoke reefer last winter in Malton? Let's go over if you've ever been with a narcissistic boyfriend in Malton. Did they have jealousy issues? Did you ever realize why you have no friends? Maybe some people never realized. They have no friends, no female friends. They thought it was the jealousy. They made you believe you were the jealous one, that they weren't doing anything. They weren't flirting. Let's go over that. What's considered flirting? Well, they're not going to tell you they cheated, right? What's considered flirting? Yeah, my first girlfriend used to get jealous, and she would look through my phone and hit me. She would get jealous. So what did she find when she looked through your phone? Why do you think she hit you when she looked through your phone? No, we're leading to why she was jealous. She found out I know other women and talked to them. Thank you. Now do you understand why she was jealous? She found out I know other women and talk to them. If she's your girlfriend and you are hiding that you know other women and talk to them, don't you think she should be suspicious? If she was hiding her phone and talking to other men, wouldn't you get suspicious and jealous? Depends how long. You wouldn't think nothing until what? If that's your girlfriend, right? Why is it your girlfriend? Why don't you just date then? Why is it your girlfriend? Why is it your boyfriend? Why is that person? Why are you with them in a relationship? She was an insecure lady and wanted me to be isolated. No, I trust my lovers and I am honest man, so I don't need to hide anything. My mom doesn't let me smoke. Well then. I usually just smoke in my unit. I don't care if it bothers the other people in my building. We said Malton. We said narcissistic abuse. Well, what do you want me to do? If people are coming on here. So which one? Like, you want me to cover everybody on the face of the earth like I know who they all are? That would be impossible, right? If I sat here and said, unless I talk to you individually, certain things. Why do you keep combating and asking questions and doing all of this nonsense here? Because did I forget? Amy Seukeran, Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Life Coach. Canada, worldwide, Malton, online. Does it really matter? 6 years from 2019. Some people are still isolated. Let's go over that one. That depends on what your narcissist did to you, right? What does it depend on? If they live there? If they moved away? What does it depend on? Why are you still isolated? They'll be where you have to go. What do you do for groceries and food? The grocery store. That's why it's good to know, right? If it's Malton or somewhere else we're talking about. That's why you have one-on-one sessions where I speak to one person. Then I know I can answer your question and you know who it is. That is the way it works. A group of people is 4 or 5, right? If you type in questions, I know kind of which one is which. If it's a one-on-one session, I know who you are, and you're the only one I'm talking to. If you're just watching videos, different story, right? You're just watching the video. Oh, the ridiculous things. Where do you see them? On Instagram? So how do you know I'm a narcissistic abuse recovery life coach if you made me stop posting? I post on how many different social media? I have to post on every single one of them every time I post? That's impossible. I can't share things like on Facebook, on Instagram, right? When I share songs and things like that that have to do with narcissistic abuse, that's only on Twitter and Facebook. Facebook is my business page. That's why that is made for my business. When I share it on my personal page, that's just because I've done that now for how many years, because people have been blocking me and banning my accounts. So I had to get other ways to help people and share the information and for myself. But Facebook is my business page. Now I have the YouTube, right? So this is probably the main one people will go to and watch videos, hopefully. So if you see them on Twitter and Instagram, different TikTok, right? You just see a video out of nowhere. Sometimes it's written on the bottom, my name and it says Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Life Coach. But some of them are just right here when I wake up in the morning. So only who knows that? If people have been watching them, following them, how do you think they don't know who I am? Just because you're where in Malton? Because you're in the building? Which one? You don't realize that some people... I came to Malton right in 2024. So how would I know if Malton knew? Unlock the perks, like making money. I still can't do that from the unit, right? If I remember, if I had an account with Google and AdSense, do you know how many accounts I've had? If I ever opened one, an AdSense to make money, you have to make sure, right? You can only have one. So I have to do that first. I should have started, I know, but as soon as, I guess when I hit the milestone, it'll motivate me to go and check. Like I said, I never in my life expected. I hate pictures. Do you understand that after what you did? Do you think I'd be on camera? I hate pictures, taking pictures. You think I'd be making videos? When? When you're self-conscious, you have self-esteem issues. Do you understand a picture with my family? I hated pictures. I wouldn't take a picture. You thought I'd ever expect I'd be on YouTube? On video camera? Live streams? Much more for what? This is live. How many people are watching me live? Whatever I do, everything I do, right here, live. You don't? Of course not. But if you tried it, what would happen? If I put a camera in your living room, what do you think a live stream is? You think that's funny that some people want to be famous? Some people want to be movie stars? I opened the business to recover victims of narcissistic abuse. I didn't want to be famous. I didn't want to be on TV. I didn't want to have pictures taken. This is funny to you? The camera loves you, darling. You're a star. After people took pictures, had cameras in my house that I didn't know about, sent me texts and photos of my naked body or what's supposed to be. I still don't know because I didn't look at them. You think that's funny? If, why didn't I get paid? Why didn't I actually go be a Twitch star and make money if I was so comfortable? Yeah, why did you think about how much I could have made the whole of COVID, right? If I was capable of doing it. Why don't we ask the men, how much do you guys pay? Remember, narcissists, right? Behind closed doors. They abuse behind closed doors. They silence you. They re-abuse you. So you stay quiet. Are you understanding any of this? The people are trying to tell you? They're not boyfriends and girlfriends like normal girlfriends and boyfriends. They have no feelings, no emotions, no heart. The only reason they keep you as a slave is so you can do things for them. And as long as they know they can keep you, they're going to do whatever it takes to keep you. Then they can go out and do whatever they want with whoever they want. Enjoy themselves and be happy. They do not care. You're so brave for facing your fears like this. Let's go over Amanda Todd. Was she brave for offing herself because she couldn't take it when people were doing things like this to her? Tormenting her over being what? Yeah, Heather spelled backwards because I get the names wrong. Ratea Parsons. Go over it. You're going to Google it after. Well, I promise you will. What happened to her? Was she brave for facing her fears? When? When the police couldn't do anything. When she did nothing except go out with her friends. Do you know that story? Why don't you go look into it? She went out. And what happened to her? She's still dead. She offed herself because what? They did what to her? Had pictures circulating where? Online where? Yeah, for all the children now who don't know. There only used to be one social media too. Go tell them. Yeah, I would like you to. Teach your children and show them. Those are 2 Canadian girls. Who else? Let me hear who else. You're talking about mental health. Let me hear the definition. Why do people, remember, I don't believe in suicide, so let me hear now. That's what off themselves means. Because remember, you're going over, I can't say the word suicide. You're getting all my stuff banned. What does it matter now? You what? What does that mean? To not believe in suicide. It means I don't believe people would off themselves and take their own life for nothing. There always has to be a reason why they did it. Right? Nobody wants to not live. Why would you? What are reasons you'd want to not live? Do you know how many times? Dead is dead? Yeah. Maybe they'll see that hashtag now and start paying attention. So what is suicide? Go over what is suicide. You're going to get this what? Go ahead. What's the matter? Am I ruining your Friday night? I don't get to go out and enjoy mine. You're asking about mine. What's the matter now? 7:40 p.m. This is my life. I'm supposed to be making money. How many times? I could be making how much an hour as a life coach, right? Narcissistic abuse. You're what? Sitting here telling me what? What's the matter? Which one is in reality? That happened to who? You understand? I was bullied. Monique and Shauna went to Morningstar with Daniel, my boyfriend. Where did it start? They were all hanging out at my house during the summer. Where did it start? Okay, well, why don't we go over when did Daniel Drummond show up? If I lived in my own house, that was my little brother. When people were at the house hanging out, what do you want me to tell you? About what? What year? Go, let me hear this one. Well, we all know they were what year when they started Morningstar High School? Well, if he went to Lancaster and his friends were from, I don't know what you want to hear. Let's hear. Somebody's laughing at which one? If September was school, we started dating in December. So if everybody hung out, were friends, were at school, they all came to my house for lunch, right? They all came after school. How many weekends where everybody hung out? So how would I know which one? Until grade 10. That's real good. What happened in grade 10? '82. 14 is still 96. They all started grade 9 in 96. They were all 14. I was 17. That was my brother. He's the same age as them. Morningstar. Today? Now? In Malton? "40 minutes. You got 20 minutes left." Imagine if you were somewhere else, not in Malton. When you said Malton's small, they didn't know. Angie would be... I have no idea. No. I'm going to ask Malton what male narcissistic abuse recovery life coaches they know. No. When? When I said he coined the term. Sam Vakman. What did you think that meant? He coined the term narcissist. When I asked you, what is he? You what? You watch videos? What do they tell you? You should have listened to Richard Grannon? Oh. What were you like as a child? I don't know. Didn't they teach you about intergenerational trauma? So what did that teach you? You change or you're the same when you grow up? It depends on your mother. Oh. Are you like your mother? I guess we're into who you took after, who really trained you. Are you more like your father? If it's narcissistic families, why not? Might as well go through it. If you spent more time with which one? If we go into narcissistic fleas, if you didn't know the word, and your parents, right, for how many years? Nobody knew the word until recently, right? So if your parents just raised you, that's what it was considered before you knew the word narcissist, right? Everybody just raised their kids. If your mother didn't know she was a narcissist, she just raised you the way she raised you, right? Now you can look at it and say, well, she wasn't very nice to me. I don't think she was very motherly. So we know those are traits of a narcissistic mother, right? If you're understanding. A normal mother has empathy, takes care of her kids. A narcissistic mother, not so much, right? You can tell the difference if you had which one. If you ever went to your friend's house and you saw their mother, a couple friends, which one? In school? You saw their mothers in school? Well, that's a whole nother story. Their mothers were sitting in the school. I think we're going back to 2019, but I can't be sure. No. You saw their mother sitting in the school? You want me to think you're joking? What I know in Malton and the Malton moms and the community center and the hub? Didn't your mother let you live with her for 40 years? That's longer than most mothers. If my mother was a narcissist stopping me from working, how did she let me live with her for 40 years? Do you mind explaining that? I think all our parents did the best they could. It's important to remember that it's their first time living too, and everyone makes mistakes. I need you to remember this is narcissistic abuse live stream. Narcissistic parents, not normal parents. narcissistic parents who were abusers, right? I think all our parents did the best they could. Well, we're here for victims who were abused by their parents. So, I'm talking to the victims. Comments like, I think all our parents did the best they could is probably a different live stream, right? Really? Are the police going to remind you? Did you see those posters up? No excuse for abuse? No excuse for abuse. Where did you see those? And what do you think it meant now? How did she stop you from working if you worked at Jack and Jill and Dollar Tree? Dollar Tree, I was staying at Cawthra Shelter when I got that job. I was in court, right? After I went to jail. That was the 6-month diversion program. That's why I worked at Dollar Tree from Cawthra Shelter. Jack and Jill, if you didn't realize, she worked there too. So did my sister. So, depends which way you look at it, right? I gave the resume in. The owner was Kent. I used to work on the weekends with the owners. I went from 5 till 9. Nobody was really there except Mary, the cashier, right? They were all there during the day, 9 to 5, full time. So I'm not too sure, since half of you work in Dollarama and the mall. Like I said, what's a conflict of interest now? My job, my business, or which one? The Dollarama, Westwood Square, a bunch of people talking about me who don't know, haven't seen me in how long? Well, that's why it's important if I know the year I worked in Jack and Jill. How is it any different from any of you? That's what I want to know. How are you any different? If when I worked in Jack and Jill, I was how old and now I'm how old? What's the difference? Because you what? Well, go ahead. Let me hear if I was in my 20s. The only difference, what? I'm 46. Let me hear the difference. Because what? Jack and Jill closed? Okay, let's hear. What year did Jack and Jill close? You keep saying I was fired. So let me hear again. Why did I stop working there? How did I get called in? My mother used to call me in. Did Kent call me into work when I needed to go into work? When they had deliveries like the styrofoam. All the holidays when they had all the styrofoam, when they had toys come in. How did I get called into work if all of you work there? We're full-time 9 to 5. Who opened the store? Who closed the store? Go for it. Who was on cash? Who was on the floor? Why not? What are you going to change now? Well, I was assistant manager at Dollar Tree, so I don't think they hired me as assistant manager from a cashier for nothing, right? You think they'd hire a cashier, turn them into assistant manager for nothing? In a couple of months. How many months was that? I'll go back and count from when I started. Remember, that was a store, right? The biggest store in Mississauga. They opened the store in August. That's what it says, right? They opened the store. You have to make the store before you open it. So if you actually saw it on Instagram, I'm sure you saw it a long time ago when I worked at Dollar Tree. When I was in Cawthra Shelter, I also worked at the Fresh Go in here, Ontario, there for a couple days, and the Canadian Tire, if you know where that is on Dundas, from Cawthra Shelter, the big Canadian Tire. Wow, amazing. If you have middle management experience, you should be able to find another job relatively easy. No one is stopping you from working anymore, right? No, I'm just trying to make money instead of giving you guys free narcissistic abuse advice, because I could be making lots of money by the hour. That's what I'm trying to do. I mean, if I separated a life coach and did like cooking, right? Teaching victims how to cook because their parents stopped them from learning. How much money would I make separately for cooking? Life skills like cleaning and organizing, budgeting your money, like buying clothes and things like that. Imagine how much money I could make if I started separating them and making videos and charging money. I guess when I unlock YouTube, right, and I can have all those separate subscribers, secret videos. So she got you a job. Seems like she tried to help you. Yes. So let's go back to how I stopped working there. Who's stopping me? Yeah. The lease says you can't make money from your unit. Are you not understanding? Why do you keep coming back and going over the same thing again? You actually can't read? Do you want to go get it and read it now? I have no idea. There has to be something wrong with it. We have? Who gave me a time limit? Who said it had to be an hour? A live stream. We have. Okay, I will be back in a few minutes. I'm going to take a break. Well, I think we're going over an hour today. Did you have something better to do on your Friday? No. Yeah, one of these days, right? What happened at the Darcel building? One of these days? You're trying to stop what? People from doing things they're not supposed to? Like what? I forgot. Look at that. The sun's gone. Since I remembered, we're going to go over the fan accounts on Instagram. Just take a good look. You explain to him what you're doing while I'll be back. You explain. If you can still hear, I'm still reading. There's still lots of time to answer questions. We're going to go over an hour because we have nothing better to do. Look, the first hour. Well, how am I supposed to find out how long I have to live stream? What's the limit to you? I guess we're going to find out. Who said I have an hour limit? I have no idea. Did you explain to him why you made accounts in his name? Why he shouldn't get you? What about the YouTube account called Empathy Bear? Who didn't see them? Empathy Bear said to ask you if you enjoyed your ice cream day. If you got ice cream. There are some nice people that came to my door, and they said they were the ones that provided the ice cream. So, I just wondered, what kind of ice cream do you have? Chocolate? 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 Yeah, mint chocolate chip. We're going to make some mint chocolate chip one day. Cookies and cream? No, we already made too much cookies and cream. What other? Fudgio? We already made Fudgio. What else? What other kinds of ice cream should I try to make? If one day I get the ingredients and make ice cream. Pink colored ice cream. What kind of ice cream is that? Cherry? Bubblegum? Just pink colored? Strawberry? Pink ice cream. You went to see the kids. He sees them through the window, whether you know it or not. He plays with them when you're not looking. He tells them all kinds of things about you. It's your bad parents. Why can't he sit by the window? Why can't he have the window open? Why can't he live stream? Did you read the things you posted? Well, he said he doesn't have empathy for some of you. That's what he said. The school is teaching empathy to children. So the adults have to do the same. Or else what reason do the children have to listen? Right? Everybody on the same page. Empathy Bear has soulless eyes. He looks traumatized. Well, maybe it's the building we live in. You think? Maybe it's the building we live in and the people. Why he has soulless eyes and he looks traumatized. Let's go over. These necklaces. I can't see them anymore. Well, everybody seems to have a problem, right? They all want them for everything for free, but not these. These ones are the inspirational because I thought, maybe not only girls, maybe boys would like them. And then, the colored ones, all the little for kids and girls because they have little charms that are all kinds of different things. Brittany and Eddie, what did they get when it was Christmas time in the community center? I gave them hope and faith. Is that the necklaces I gave them? Those same inspirational ones? These same ones. One was hope and one was faith. Well, there was a Christmas tree up, if you remember, in the community center. So maybe, I think Eddie said he put it on the tree. Well, at least you know what they look like, right? If they remember and you talk to them. A couple people at community center had the initial from their name because I had no money, and I was selling them for $5. So that's how they have them. You remember? You were going over rules, no soliciting. You preferred I had no money. You preferred which one? You were exchanging, bartering, doing what in the community center there? Well, it's not going to change. That was what month? 2024, before I came here, obviously, when I was homeless. I what? Oh, 2023. Am I mistaking it because I came here in January? So 2023. 2024, I was probably not in the community center for Christmas. Why don't we go over what soliciting means? They have the signs up in Fresco now. So let's go over all the different meanings of solicitation. Now that we're in Malton and that's reality. What do you think the one at Fresco means? You should continue soliciting. What do you think that word means? You can't go in there if you sell Avon? You can't go in there if you're having an event and ask people? Which one? You can't sell yourself? Then which one do you think it means at the Fresco, the sign? No solicitation. Uh-huh. Same word, right? Like if the Malton Youth Hub went in there and did what? Tried to get the cashiers to help them? If they had fundraising like that? To go ask the cashiers to help you? Well, what does it mean then? If you went into the mall and asked them to do what? Help you with your fundraiser? Well, probably not now because you guys have been going along with no rules for a long time. So that's probably the point, right? Why you're asking all of these questions? Well, how did all of multi-neighborhood services do all those events if they were involved in the mall? There's well for it. How do they advertise? There's nowhere to advertise, right? They don't have a billboard anymore. So where? How many years? When they had which one? How did they have the party room? How did you rent that? When they had the craft lady, how did you rent that? She was just there? The food court in the mall, right? Remember the ball pit? How did you go there? Why not just use an online store to sell these Chinese dollar store necklace trinkets? Yeah, I ordered the pendants. I ordered the necklaces separately, paid for them. The pendants separately. The little hoops, right? To join them together separately, paid for them. I had to do each one with a pair of pliers, right? Close the loop when I put them onto the necklace. Use an online store. I had Square. Do you know what Square is? A Square reader. They stole it from me because I used to plug it into my phone so you could swipe your credit card. You're sitting here now telling me about what? You ever go into the store and see the big iPad like KFC? Yeah, a Square. So you're telling me about what year now? If that's technology to you. They stole it because I had it in my wallet to plug into my phone, right? They're asking me why I didn't have an online store. Yeah, you go over it. Take a minute. What Square is? When I was giving them for free. Well, a couple times, right? What did you tell me? I'm recycling them? Yeah, all you had to do was email or text. Just simply ask, right? What don't you understand? I can't make money from this unit. If I could have made money, you think I wouldn't have opened an online store? I wouldn't have been using the fridge and the freezer and the nonprofit to make money? You think I wouldn't have been selling food if I could have done that? Let me hear how I wouldn't have, if the hub opened when, if I could have done it. Yeah, I want your reality to check all of the dates. Okay, I actually bought the cardboard too. That's packaging. Do you see these little, well, I had different packaging, but these, you pay for that packaging separately. You pay money for all of those. Then, when you buy these necklaces, you have to buy, do you see the little hoop? Because if you put this on, it would look like this, right? If you just put the, oh, you can't see. If you put the pendant on, it would just hang like this. You need that little loop. Do you see the little loop? You have to have a tiny pair of pliers. Do you see the loop now? If I just put this on the necklace, first of all, it wouldn't fit on the string, right? These little pendants. Do you understand that? It wouldn't go this way. It would hang sideways. So you wouldn't even see what was on it. You need a little loop. So those little loops, you buy them and you have to open them. And then you put the pendant. And then after you put the pendant, you got to put the chain on. Then you got to close it back up. So after, that's one. I did all of them by hand, one by one. Sit here and tell me about when you buy it from Ardeen and Claire, you pay $10. I want to know if I still have my receipts for tax time. Business expenses, right? They're business supplies. Do you understand why you keep your receipts? So when I do my taxes, they know these are business supplies I bought. I don't know why you're laughing. Well, when you buy, let's see, what's a good store in the mall? Okay, let's go to the hamburger place. When they buy the ground beef and the burger buns, well, what do they charge you for a burger after they put it all together? It is the same. When I make the necklace and they make the burger, what do they charge you? Yeah, I understand this concept. I remember being a child and making arts and crafts. This is impressive if it's a child doing it, not as impressive when it's a fully grown woman doing it. Okay, hold on a second. I gotta show you something. This is a Pandora bracelet. Do you know what Pandora is? Pandora bracelet? The first one I had with all the charms, I spent hundreds and hundreds and hundreds on with all the charms. And somebody stole it. I don't have it anymore. So when they had one of the sales, when you buy the charm, it was specialty charms, right? That's the only time I saved up. So I got the bracelet for free, this one. And after 6 years homeless, when I came back to Malton, it was still put away somewhere and I got it. So if I didn't spend all that money and get it for free, it was brand new. I had it. I wouldn't have it now. But yeah, it's a charm bracelet, right? That's Pandora. You ever heard of Pandora? So what do? You buy it and you put charms on it, right? You keep collecting them. Yeah? So what's the difference now with the necklace? With the charm? Well, you said it's childish, right? Yeah, I understand this concept. I remember being a child and making arts and crafts. This is impressive if it's a child doing it, not as impressive when it's a fully grown woman doing it. So why do you all have Pandora charm bracelets then? If it's not as impressive when it's a fully grown woman doing it. How much do you pay for a Pandora charm to add to your bracelet? You remember the one I posted all the charms for, right? Hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth you stole. One was for Kurt Cobain when he died. One was for Amy Winehouse when she died. One was a camera. Remember? The masks, the theater masks, the cupcake, the crab, all of those charms. One for, yeah, specialty. You can only get them once in a lifetime, and you stole it all. So who would ever, right? Start buying back. That's why it's plain now. I don't buy anything for it. I just wear this. Because there's no point. Nobody's going to go start collecting and spending hundreds of dollars, right? When you just swiped it, stole it, and just like my camera. Nobody's going to go spend more money. It's their lifetime, right? My passion was photography. Every piece of equipment you took from me. Yeah, I remember when you wanted to strip me of my worldly possessions. Was that the wording you used? And now I'm here doing what? Have you ever been to Square One, the Pandora store there? Anybody have a Pandora bracelet? Collect charms? Speaking of that. Well, okay, let's go over. If you're rich and fancy, what kind of jewelry do you buy? You go to People's Jewelers? Tiffany? What's Tiffany known for? Their necklace? Like Angie Atkinson used to wear? The heart necklace? You ever see her videos? The heart necklace she wears is a Tiffany. So what else? What do you buy if you're rich and you have money? We went over Pandora and Tiffany. Yeah, I bought it. Remember Pandora's box? Do you know the story of Pandora's box? That's the charm I wanted. Catching up to which one? When she got her Tiffany necklace? Angie Atkinson? Let's go see the value today. If I had to buy a Pandora bracelet, I got a set when I bought it, right? So it came with like the charm and the spacers. You know, you buy the spacers and all the little rubber stoppers. You can get all kinds of chains to hold it closed because it's 400 pounds. Well, I never wore it, right? You can't get it wet. You're not supposed to put it in water. You take it back to the store to clean it. Do you know a lot about your Pandora bracelet? Well, years and years. So I didn't wear it much. I just wore it when I went out. 25% off with $175 spend. See? That's how I used to get save up, and then when I had the special, get the charms I wanted. Well, if you see 175, or if you spend 100, if you spend 75, how much is the bracelet worth? You get the bracelet for free. If you understand the concept of a charm bracelet your whole life, you have it and you collect them one by one, only the specialty. How often do they have the specialty charms? If you collect Pandora, why do you collect Pandora? The bangles. I had one I got for free, but 6 years, right? You guys went through my whole entire house, basement, life, everything, took what you wanted, threw what you wanted, left what you wanted. Some pieces probably still there somewhere. So who knows? Let's go see. We're going to find if you have to get one now. Charm bracelets, link bracelets, tenant, chain, bangles, all kinds now. Which one? Pandora moments. Maybe they don't even have the bracelet anymore. 105. Snake chain bracelet. I think that's the closest to the original what I have. This one. 105. If I have to go buy it. Now. Barrel clasp, snake chain bracelet, sterling silver. Clasp, a barrel clasp. Like I said, it's a long time. I don't know if anybody buys them, but maybe the girls or the teenagers buy, and they have the one to the heart, because I don't know how long they had that, but I saw that. So this is the barrel, you understand, the round one, if you could see it. You have to prove it's real. It's upside down, so I'll just have to deal with it. There, can you see this way now? Why? Why? How many do a fake one? How do you know it's real? How do you know your charms are real? How do you know it's real? Because what? If what? If what? Get my phone charger. I'll be back. If you didn't know me. I prefer to collect money and keep it in a brokerage account so no one can steal it. So far, if my collection is going well, it makes me even more. It makes me money every month. Well, see, isn't that what I just told you? I'm not going to go spend money on things like that anymore, right after I get stolen. So, why are you spending your money on luxury jewelry if you're homeless? Number one, you made me homeless in 2019. When I had my Pandora bracelet, why don't you check again? What year, how many years I was collecting? Then you can go to Alicia and Melisha, and why Melisha had a Pandora bracelet if she wasn't spoiled. She was how old when she had hers? Yeah, let's ask her mother and father. Oh, all of them. We want reality, right? A good sense of reality in what year? So, if we both had one at the same time, let's find out. Why is I spending my money on luxury jewelry? Do you understand the concept of Pandora, a charm bracelet? The bracelet was 100, I just told you. So when you save your money to buy one charm that you like and you put it on that bracelet, how often do you think you can get a charm? If I just told you I bought the set to start with. Well, specialty charms are usually more, right? Because they're specialty. They come out once a year. The brand Pandora has like a special charm, like a Christmas charm, once a year. So if those are the ones I bought, go for it. I'm trying to remember how many you stole. How many were on my bracelet? Okie dokie. Oh, 10. I've only got 10 listed here. Pandora Forever, Pandora's Box, Music Note, Happily Ever After, Guitar, The Happy Crab, and the Cupcake, The Carousel, The World's a Stage, Gift from the Heart. That's what I've got, 10 of them. Only 10. Well, these say 2014, but who knows? I lost a couple phones. This was Color Note. 2013. So, you never know. If this is right, then it's 2013. Do you? Well, why don't we get the shelter bags who stole my camera and have it? Let's see if it went up in value, my charms, one by one. Well, they all know when they were there, right? When they stole the camera bag, the little harmonica, the green harmonica. Donna's still dead, right? So, yeah, that was Cawthra Shelter where they stole it from. It was in the camera bag, my Pandora bracelet. It was all inside the camera bag. Everything they took. And my Pokemon, my Go Plus was in there too. It's on Facebook. You can Facebook, Google, search it anytime you want. That's, yeah, the 300 millimeter lens. That was in there too. That same one I keep showing you from Shoppers. I'm going to use my points if I ever have to buy it back. Well, we've come a long way, right? Did you see the Henrys when I bought a used camera after they stole it? That one I saved up. Do you know how long? Being in Cawthra Shelter when I worked at Dollar Tree to buy that used camera. Then it was in storage. And then finally, when I came to Malton, I went to storage and I was afraid to bring it here. Why? Why don't you tell them why? I was afraid to bring it to my new apartment. The camera that I just bought, the used one from Henry's. Because what? Those same people live here? There are too many mouths. They told stories of who, what they did to who. They enjoyed telling you what they did to the life coach. Well, I keep explaining this is your reality, right? You had to live somewhere. Yeah, who was my roommate? Was that the Sam before, after? Anna? Yeah, that's where we're all trying to figure out which one where, how it walked away while I was where. From Cawthra Shelter. If you go over all the dates Sam were discharged, that's the quickest way. How about Franklin? When did he come into the shelter? A week after me? So he doesn't know when he came into the shelter? When was he discharged? It doesn't matter to me. Well, you mentioned Jeff and Donna. How do you think I know them? When? When Sam punched me in the face? All those pictures you saw. When she punched me in the lip, you're sitting here telling me what? Who do you think that was? Take a good look. That's Sam, Monique, the same high school bully, Monique and Shauna. Because you don't recognize her face? Because she has dark brown hair? That's not her? That wasn't her in the shelter? that they put me in the room. I was her roommate. They put me in the same room as her. That's what I kept explaining. That's the high school bully that bullied me when I got drugged. Same Monique and Shauna. Do you understand? Shauna is the one I keep posting the picture is dead. Well, maybe Malton will catch up after this live stream. Danielle, Phil, Derek, they were all friends, right? Monique dated Phil. I dated Daniel. They all hung out at my house. Shauna, Tina, Derek, all. What are you going to say? I outed you now? You're sitting here telling me about what? How many years later? We're in 2025. So why did you all get to live your life? Did you know I was going to become a narcissistic abuse recovery life coach? Me neither. Did you know you're going to hear the word narcissist? Me neither. So I need you to understand. When you come on here telling me what, I can't lie for you. I'm sitting right here the same way you are. Well, one of the fan accounts, there's a picture of me, right? Did you see it? It says hater across the forehead. After being bullied by them, how did I end up in the police station? You said that was who there when I got arrested. So? Well, let me hear. Why would you make an account like that? Well, how do you expect me to react to an account like that? Do you remember the same with the P-trap? That's still all me you did this to, right? All those comments about the P-trap, the vanity, the sink, I can't do repairs. Who proved what? If I'm one person, what did all these men do? They what? I don't know why you're laughing. Did Officer Tyler arrest you? No. Do you remember the post I made? Isn't that what you guys, that says Malton People's Movement? It said you made him part of the rapid response and you want him fired because he's making $125,000 a year. So the post I saw before that, he was making how much when he tasered and did what to who? So I don't know. Like I said, I only know him because of what you guys did. When I started reading, that's what I know. That post was this morning with the motorcycle. Why? What? If he's on Instagram? What do you mean if he's on Instagram? What happens if I click on them? I think Amy Seukeran Updates is the best and only fan page. The others are just imitation haters. What do you think happens if I go and click on them? Start with Instagram, then go to YouTube. Where do you think your comments are when you leave them on the YouTube comment section? Where do you think they are when you leave them on Instagram? Who do you think sees them? Has this? It's been a productive live stream. And what did you learn? You're married? You're dating? You're single? Can we separate that? If you're happily married, you shouldn't be attending these, right? This is for victims of narcissistic abuse, relationships, family members. If it's your family, jealousy. We're talking about jealousy. I can't do all of them. You want me to confuse you even more? When I asked where you heard the word, what did you tell me? You've been using it to manipulate people to go make money. How many times you want videos on demand? You want live streams on demand? You're working. Do you know how many comments you left about I'm on ODSP? I'm on social assistance? Now again, go over. If I charge you by the hour for narcissistic abuse advice, how much could I be making? Well, you keep talking about a job, so where do you work? You're giving me options. None of you put where you work. When? Let's go to 2018, 2017. You're talking about Canada Day. When was the first Canada Day celebration in the Westwood Square? They're talking about when the mall opened, right? 2014, it reopened. They had the opening of the shops, if you're following what I posted, following along. So when they redid the mall, they redid the food court, whatever shops, stores were there. That was 2014. So from when? This all happened 2018, 2019? When people were breaking and entering. Did I not see those videos? Smash and grab and jewelry store robberies. It was a trend everywhere. Maybe who didn't know? I love Canada Day. The fireworks are so cool. Canada's awesome and has a great history. Best country ever. We went over that too. Fireworks are now banned in Brampton. You can't do fireworks anywhere in Brampton. For 2 years you've been doing, or 1 year you were doing fireworks outside my window. Did you forget all that? You still playing with rules and bylaws if it gets canceled here? Did Canada Day have fireworks at the mall this year? With which one? How many times? What are you gonna do if it gets canceled? You keep playing around, setting them off whenever you want, wherever you want. How long? How many months? You didn't know it was me, right? Yeah. I'm doing what to you? My mouth? What? No, I want to understand this. All of Malton got to blame me because you didn't what? You should do a smash and grab at Pandora and get all your charms back. Do you ever notice? Well, those Square One have you ever been to Square One? Did you ever see there's a big security guard standing outside the door of Pandora? No? Why do you think he's outside the door of Pandora in Square One, the security guard? That means you've been there? Are you? What are you laughing at? What year? Go, let me hear now. What year? If you've ever been to Square One and saw the security guard outside Pandora, the earliest you can remember, the earliest year. Well, I used to buy them at Woodbine, so I wouldn't know. I didn't go to Square One. So, if you bought charms at Pandora and Square One, what's the earliest year you remember the security guard out there? Yeah, sure. Look at all around Malton now. There's a security guard in Tim Hortons. Do you know how many times I asked? Why is there a security guard in Tim Hortons? What are you stealing from there? Yeah, I guess everybody in Malton now is going to find out. So, okay, let's go over it. What do you steal from Tim Hortons? Why is there a security guard in there? We can go over them all. You have security and the police station, right? And When? 6 years is a long time. When I was living in Mississauga, Bramalea was by Bramalea City Center. Downtown Brampton was by City Hall, right? Queen Street, Chinguacousy, or not Chinguacousy. What's the library there? I can't remember. Not Chinguacousy Library, downtown Brampton by Ellen House. What's the library there? When? It's Malton now? Why didn't I live in Rexdale? Let's go over this once. Peel region is Brampton and Mississauga. Rexdale and Etobicoke is Toronto. It's not considered Peel for Ontario Works and for a housing subsidy. Do you understand now? They're Toronto. They're not Peel region. Yes? Near Gage Park. Yeah, I know the library. Yeah. Yeah, Gage Park is where they had all the Christmas activities when they shipped me over to Cawthra Shelter. Yeah, did you see the panda and all the... Yeah, that's how long they've been... They didn't want me to see what they were doing. It was all in Gage Park. Mr. Brown, remember when I kept showing you all of that? All the events and the big mascots? Sure, the panda and the bear and the dog and the donkey and the tiger. All of them. Gage Park is where they have the lights, right? They have the lights on the trees. Where do you think I used to go walking every day? Exactly. How many times? Nobody wants to live in Toronto. I should live in Toronto. I used to smoke and try to pick up skater chicks at Gage Park. Well, I think that might be Mr. Brown right now. How old were you, Mr. Brown? I don't know. How old am I? I'm 46. How old is Mr. Brown? And how old are you? What year were skater chicks popular? The 90s? I went to the downtown. To see Avril Lavigne concert. No, I didn't see her in concert. Mm-hmm. Why do you spell it like that? Skater. SKAR. It's like how some people spell girl GURL now. It's a generation of slang thing? So why'd you spell skater like that? Too many. You're ashamed? Why? What happened? How I know that? Hmm. Just made some new ones. Yeah, all of them. They took a name. Oh well. That's what some of the men said. We said no. Don't hate, appreciate. So don't hate the player, hate the game. Mm-hmm. Until it's you. What's slang? We went over this, right? This is why the past couple generations can't spell. Because instead of typing and writing out words, right? You've been on your phone instead of writing it out in school and writing things. You use things like this, so you don't actually know the spelling when it's time to actually use it. If one generation, which one? It wasn't a joke. Yes, things like that. Autocorrect. And you see how they have like Grammarly and things like that that correct everything for you. Yeah, that's what the effects are right now, what we're going through. You never actually learned what was normal, what was right. The computer program did it. So now that you have to do it yourself, you don't know what to do. Why? You have to learn it first before you use programs like that to shortcut it. Yeah, the fundamentals. Remember that one? The basics. You have to learn the basics. Then you add on to your knowledge and your skills. You can't shortcut it. That's what happens. What does Grammarly do when you use it? It fixes your writing. What does it fix? It fixes spelling, spelling errors, grammar. What else? Punctuation. Yeah, think of all of the skills you learn in school. You're supposed to learn those one by one and know them before you use a computer to do it for you. That's why you go to school, right? To learn it manually. Then you can learn quick ways to do things. But you have to know how to do it first, right? To understand the basics. That's why you learn elementary skills in elementary school. The basics, like reading, writing, ABC, 1, 2, 3. Well, today forward, right? When you know, then you know. Now that I've told you, you know it. You can only know when I tell you. My math teacher would always say, don't use a calculator because you won't always have one. But look at us now. Every phone has a calculator. And if I had to pull out a calculator every time I had to tell you something, all those jobs and whatever, I'm calculating money. Do you think I didn't learn that myself manually? How do I do that then? Do you see me with one every time? In age, the difference in age? Every phone has a calculator, but do you ever see me use the calculator? When I tell you all about the payments and the ODSP and all these things when I'm live, where do you think I calculate that? Amy, if one of your fans sees you in public, would want them. I'm going to read it properly. Amy, if one of your fans sees you in public, would you want them to approach you and introduce themselves, or are you shy? Now, if you've been here in Malton or like an hour on this live stream, I'm not quite sure to answer that. Don't say Brittany and Eddie. Well, those were people in the community center. So I really don't know how to separate. Why are you laughing? If it was you? Okay, if it was you in Malton. It says, Amy, if one of your fans sees you in public, would you want them to approach you and introduce themselves, or are you shy? Which one now? The building? Tim Hortons? I know Malton just stopped because it got quiet or something. What did Alicia do with when they were? I don't know. Like I said, I only know what you showed me. You've been hiding everything. If I saw you at Tim Hortons, I would offer to pay for your coffee as a kind gesture. Now, see, 6 years homeless. Different people, right? And then people get mad when you, which one, answer no? They take it the wrong way. So if 5 people came up to me and offered to do that, what if I said yes? You think I'm good? I have to drink 5 coffees now. Do you think about all of the sides? Is it? They take it from the food bank? The people? Why? Why is it? Let's go over. If you're anorexic, right? And you're vomiting, that's acid. What do you think happens? Well, probably if you've ever experienced it, right? How do you think, okay, when they told you about, I guess you've seen the commercials, right? What does acid do to your teeth? The enamel. It eats away because it's acid. So if, like, I have nausea, right? You throw up a lot. How do you think that happens if I don't eat food? My mouth is filled with what usually then, do you think? You're always nauseous. Why they're weak, my teeth, and they break so easy. What did the commercial tell you? How do you get it back? Yeah, do you remember when I went over that? You can't get back things like your bones. When they're gone, they're gone. Your teeth, your eyes, you can't get those back. And you made sure. So what do you want? I have no idea. You keep? Like I said, because what? You can't get it to bother me anymore? 6 years you've been doing this, right? Then going over because I smoke, the color of them, everything you can. Live. This is live for the whole world. Tell me what kind of cruel person. Yeah, person. I'm not using the word person. Why didn't you explain to everyone? We went over in the same live stream, Amanda Todd, right? You actually are sitting here right now, the whole world. Now I want to hear what you think you are. Why somebody would do that to another human being. Go ahead. Do I what? You ever got teeth whitening? Do you know what that does to your teeth? Teeth whitening? What's in tooth whitening? The teeth whitening. What do you think that's made out of? Chemicals? Like what? How many times have you ever got your teeth whitened? What do you think? Do you ever think about what happens long term? Oh, it's bleach probably. Bleach probably. Teeth whitening things. Yeah. I will be back. You think about what you say to people, and if somebody told you about what we're talking about, body image and self-conscious, right? Mental health. No, we're all gonna understand now. The women or the men. Well, I remember as you mentioned it, gray rock. Did I post a video for you to help you? Usually when I do that, right. If I can't explain, there's a video already that can explain it right instantly. So that's why I do that when I post those. All the different 6 years, right? I know what you're asking, so I give you the answer. That's why I post other people's videos for you. Gray rock, like she was saying, that's when you try to ignore them. If you're living with a narcissist who keeps telling you things like this all day, do you think that's normal? When they insult you, insult your looks, are you starting to kind of catch on to the kinds of things that aren't normal that they do? The difference? Would you tell your daughter that? Would you tell your friend that, your sister? If you knew somebody had issues with their weight, or like you were talking about my stretch marks, right? You see, I was, I don't know if you've ever seen the picture, but I was big when I was younger. Stretch marks happen, stretch marks, when your skin stretches. So if you gain weight fast, your skin stretches. You get stretch marks. If you lose weight too fast, your skin stretches. Like skin, it stretches, right? So imagine if you're pregnant, your stomach, it has to grow when you have a baby in there, right? Makes sense? It stretches when the baby's in there. So you have stretch marks. When the baby comes out, does your stomach just go back flat and perfect? Yes? I've never had a baby, so I'm just trying to make everybody understand without scarring anybody. Well, they were talking about the guys, right? When they lift weights, why they have stretch marks, why I have stretch marks. They were talking about the picture when, because I couldn't show you, right? That they were sending me naked pictures. You made me do that to show what? You wanted to degrade me? You wanted to see me naked? That's why I posted that one. Are you impressed now? Well, let's hope you got all the answers you guys wanted. They wanted to know, they must know. So I answered. Why did you say that men have to wear skirts for the live stream? Well, as I was talking about, right? You see what? You're calling women what? Promiscuous and all kinds of words? When the only person I've been with was a narcissist. Daniel Drummond is the only person I've slept with, right? 15 and a half years of my life. And now you're sitting here in Malton because what? You're his friends telling me what? What did you do for the past 2 years since I've been living here? What have you said about me? Well, what's normal to you? To have a girlfriend and insult them? Is that normal to you? A boyfriend and you insult them? Well, it goes back to why you're in a relationship. Why do you have a boyfriend? Okay, why do you date? To do what? Why did people date? have conversations to get to know people before they did what? Married them? Had kids? Why are you laughing at this? Do people date now? All ages. Yeah. I went over this with the teenagers, 20s, 30s a couple of years ago. Why they didn't want to have kids, why one night stands came into the picture, online dating. You were talking about online, right? They were just looking for the prettiest picture. So nobody actually had conversations. Then when you met them in person, what did you do? When you ran out of what? If you used online dating and you just slept with them? When you ran out? When you ran out of pretty pictures? When you had to meet them in real life, have a conversation? Which one? Well, let's start with 6 years. You have jealousy issues? That's where it started, online dating? Social media? How many people can put up whatever picture they want now? If they're trying to create jealousy. If you had a boyfriend and he dumped you and you wanted to make him jealous or you wanted to get revenge, why are you laughing at this? How many of the women go after steal their husband's whatever's phone, go through their phone? What was the comment about going through the phone? Well, when there's a lock on the phone, right? If you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, if their phone is locked and that's your boyfriend, would you not think that's suspicious? Okay, say they always lock it. Would you have the code if that's your boyfriend or girlfriend? Do you think that's normal? A sense of 6 years? A sense of how many years then? Well, we can get it to WhatsApp. Do you remember when people had a phone number? And WhatsApp. How many people? When all you have to do is get a new phone, and how does it connect to you? By their phone number? By their name? I'm trying all the years, all the technology. When? It was what? By what account? You typed in what on social media? Their phone number, their name, their handle? Yeah, a long time indeed. Well, that was my mistake, right? Why would you have your phone locked? Yeah, we went over. If Daniel Drummond went through my phone, I was, in my house. I took a shower. He was in the basement. He stayed. He came whenever he wanted. I wouldn't have ever known the difference through my phone. How would you know? Well, remember, I went over, right? A phone number deleted itself from my phone. So I'm still waiting for the explanation. How does a phone number delete itself from your phone? This was after he broke up with me. I told you, we're right here. This is the Westwood Mall, the same when I worked in Jack and Jill. I can't take it back now. You what? You enjoying yourselves? Same security guards, right? Just let me remind you. Yeah. One minute they forget. It's the same security guards in the mall now. And they go through there and it's been 20 years and their kids and grandkids. Now they click in, right? It doesn't work until I make it real. You weren't somebody else, right? When I moved to Malton in the past 4 years. So now, if you think about which one, all the years, Malton Soccer Club were in the mall. And which one? All the people that joined up as players or all the coaches? From what year? What year did Malton Soccer Club start setting up in the mall? Well, those might be some of the little boys that keep. Speaking of the flag football today, did you see that post? 16-year-olds are teaching who? What age? Flag football. Why I said the ambulance should just wait outside. Do you see why I have a problem with this? They're making money charging that. Right. The ballet group was what? Now they have their own nonprofit. $300. That's the same youth hub. Why I have a say? Can you imagine why I have a say? Why I have a say? Yeah. Go back to the flag football. You have coaches. You're paying them. So who are the kids? How old are they that they're teaching this flag football to? Yeah, when they break their bones, when they end up not getting up, who are you going to blame? Well, if flag football, they start at 16. So 16-year-old boys are going to go sign up to coach other kids to play, to mentor youth, like it says. A 16-year-old, if he gets power, you have to be joking with me, right? When I asked if there were adults here, responsible adults, these are your children, actual children's lives. Something's wrong somewhere? I can't believe this. Which one? Do you want to go over real quick? Yeah, you keep telling me about the police and the security and all kinds of things. And no, I'm not understanding. Where's the police station? Where's the Tim Hortons? When I go to the mall, you sit there and what? When I did the live stream from the food court upstairs in the mall, what happened? I never had my phone locked. That was the point. He didn't have to go through it. He didn't have to type the code in. I never had my phone locked. His was locked. Mine, I never had locked. Well, you were talking about the ringtones, right? My ringtone for him was that same song, Jar of Hearts, Christina Perri. You were asking why that was my ringtone for him. Maybe you can go listen to that song. Yeah, I posted, do you know? How many times? The one I posted was Amanda Todd. Do you understand that now? That's her version of that song. Amanda Todd's version of that song, Jar of Hearts. Why did I post her version? Where did you get Stay Strong from? Where did you get Molten Strong from? What happened to Shauna? You wanted to pretend you were victims of what? Yeah, Demi Lovato, Stay Strong. Where did the purple heart come from? For which one? What year was it when you did all of that with Amanda Todd's mother, when she spoke out? Yeah, check the date on that. And the YouTube account. Yeah, I posted it. That's her mother, right? She's the one who put up that video of Amanda Todd singing the song. If you look at the account, that's her mother's account. Her mother's the one that put that song out, that video. Why I posted it. Jar of Hearts, the Amanda Todd version. Why don't you go check it now and see whose account it is? About the Christina Perri version and why it was my ringtone when I was dating Daniel Drummond. Yeah, I explained that, remember? They collect hearts. They have a jar of hearts because they don't have one. They're cold and heartless. So after they take yours and they destroy you, they just move on to the next. I did, Jar of Hearts. Go listen to it again. When? Which one? A narcissist? Yes, it's all narcissistic abuse I'm talking about. 2 hours and 6 minutes. I guess we went longest for this live stream. Okay, I'm going to let you enjoy your Friday night, and you can go listen to Jar of Hearts. All the versions. Enjoy your night, Malton. See you next time. Amy Seukeran, Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Life Coach.